Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is John Alwyn-Jones and I'm with Global Travel Media. And in my 30 odd years in travel and tourism throughout the world, I've never, and I suppose you have never seen something so cataclysmic as COVID that has changed the world in which we not just live, but in the world in which we actually currently can't travel. It's been devastating. But you know, there are people in this world, in the travel world, that are still working and are still with bated breath waiting to get you going to travel. So this is the first in a series of 3 videos about the impact of COVID-19 on travel and tourism, and in particular, the people that many people use to book their travel agencies. And you'll have read a lot about the demise of travel agencies and so on, and people being laid off. But here I have the Executive General Manager of TravelManagers, Michael Gazal. Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Good morning, John. How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. And I can see you're obviously working from home as well. But you know,
I am indeed.
But that's such an important thing for the role of travel managers, and we'll get to that in a second. We're going to be talking in the second video with some business partnership managers and travel managers, and in the third video we'll be talking with some of the frontliners, the people at the coalface of travel booking with travel managers. These are the personal business or personal travel managers that you as consumers, if you're watching this, or if you're a travel agent and you want to join travel managers, you would become. So Michael, let's have a bit of a chat first of all about how did HOT, okay, you can tell us what HOT is, and how did TMA, which is Travel Managers Australia, how did that come about?
Well, John, HOT, House of Travel, they're Australia's largest independent travel agency group based in New Zealand across the ditch. And they purchased Travel Managers back in 2007. My goodness.
Wow, a while ago, yeah.
So the business started in 2005. And House of Travel were looking for an opportunity in the Australian market. They decided to buy an existing home-based business, Travel Managers, which had approximately 50 personal travel managers.
Okay.
So from 2007 until, let's call it January 2020, when the world changed, we reached a little milestone for our business of 600 personal travel managers in all states and territories around Australia. We have a business which essentially has grown over the years, I'd say mainly because of the fact that, as you put it before, the landscape has changed. Consumers can DIY. The advent of technology, particularly the internet, has allowed that greater than ever. So why has a business like ours flourished and grown over the years? I suppose it comes down to probably 2 things. It's the freedom and flexibility for a travel entrepreneur that's been in the industry for many years, that wants to run their own business and essentially have a business that can operate at very low cost. I think really when you look at the slide that's on the screen and you see the numbers, purely the numbers don't lie, 70% of travel agencies in the US are home-based. They're mainly called advisors.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people. That's a large number in the US. And just on that word advisors, and I know with Barry Mayo, we've talked about this and he's an exponent of it. I think travel agents, right? They're the agents of the supplier, not the agents of the customer. An advisor, consultant is a much better name because they have knowledge and they have skills that are worth charging for.
Yes. Yeah, and that's essentially, I think, the reason that we called our agents many years ago personal travel managers, because it really encapsulates what do they offer. And it is personalised service at the highest level, operating 24/7 and providing that support to a customer, you know, whatever time, when they're overseas, you know, in the times where things do go wrong. And as you and I know, over the years, the industry has faced a huge amount of challenges, from ash clouds and Bali bombings and 9/11. And ultimately, you know, we are a very resilient industry. And I think many people thought the death of the travel agent, especially with the advent of the internet and people being able to DIY. So, why all these years later, when people ask me, why do travel agents still exist, John? And I suppose the real answer to that question is that there are consumers that are looking for people that are professionals that can add value to them.
Just cutting across you as well for a second, I think it's particularly relevant in Australia. But what's happened with COVID is even the simplest thing, which could be booking a cruise. Okay, simple that. I know where I want to go. I know what ship I want to go on. Why would I go to a travel agent? Maybe book the cruise. COVID comes along. I want a refund. We have this situation at the moment where there are thousands and thousands of people owed vast amounts of money by operators who are not refunding money. But the agents have had to get involved. And I know your agents have been involved in negotiating refunds for their clients. And all of a sudden, the agent or the consultant becomes valuable. Why? They know the business. And I think also anything complicated, I think the lesson has been learned that you need your travel consultant to assist you and help you to do that. They're the experts.
And the numbers don't lie, John. I think the numbers in Australia are $10 billion worth of refunds. Wow. $6 billion through agencies have already gone back to consumers. And there's roughly $4 billion still out there in the cyberspace, credits and refunds that need to go back to Australian travel consumers. Wow. It's a huge amount of money that our industry is working on behalf of all of their valued clients to get money back to their customers.
So travel managers today, okay, a lot of your people obviously are based from home. A lot of your management are working from home. So are they beginning to see any sort of positivity in the market at this point in time?
Look, it's a bit of a yo-yo effect. I think that's the word that's been used. When the domestic borders commenced opening, particularly places like Queensland, we did actually start to see an increase in travel sales. Many Australian consumers, they do want to go away. Unfortunately, because of the nature of this pandemic, borders are open, and as soon as borders open, borders close. So you've got this yo-yo effect where you're booking and cancelling, and you're booking and cancelling. I think a lot of consumers have become very wary and tired of that. Hence why I think a lot of intrastate tourism is flourishing. However, it is very challenging. If we've got mandates on closed borders, both domestic and internationally, we cannot trade. So with the travel bubbles that have been discussed with New Zealand and certain parts of Asia and the Pacific, we're going to start to see people traveling again. Obviously, the rollout of the vaccine will be critical to that. But as it is right now, it's very, very challenging in the business when a government mandate on border closures doesn't allow a business to trade.
But I think that if you turn it into a positive, okay, and you look at people throughout ages, and the people that have made lots of money, some multi-billionaires, have always made money out of the Great Depression, Second World War. I mean, whole horrendous things. But isn't this the time, if I was a travel man, if I was a travel agent or, had skills and experience in that business, isn't this a time to get trained up as a travel manager and start thinking about because there's pent-up demand, surely, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that. And I think, look, the reality is that the traditional bricks and mortar travel agency model, and look, my background was many, many years in, I think, one of Australia's best independent franchises being Harvey World Travel. Is that these these models have been exposed more so than ever because of the large and high cost of running a business. A bricks and mortar business is even more exposed because, the rent doesn't stop, the salaries don't stop, the fixed costs don't stop. And I think this is where there's an opportunity for so many great businesses to look at. They've been forced by this pandemic to move their business home. However, in terms of long-term survival, I think many of them have to think, well, what is the future for myself? And our business has probably a good 10 to 15% of ex-travel agency owners that have closed the doors and morphed their business into a home base and have flourished and survived and grown their business. I think this is one of the things that, you know, we really want to provide this opportunity for many fantastic agents out there that right now are staring at the wall thinking, where do I go? What can I do? How do I, you know, how do I take my business into the future? Because I don't want to leave this fantastic industry. I love the travel industry. I've got a fantastic client base, but do I really want to be exposed like this again? And this is a once in a lifetime for us. And its ramifications are, you know, for many, many years to come. You know, we're talking perhaps 2024, 2025 for recovery. So I think it's providing opportunity for people to think there is another way.
But I also think, you know, it's also, and I've no vested interest in this. I mean, I think it's also, if I'm thinking about travel and I'm thinking of using a travel consultant or a travel advisor, I want a personal relationship with that person. They need to understand what my interests are, because I might say I'm going to Italy, but that doesn't mean anything. It really is about why I'm going to Italy. What do I want to see there? What do I want to eat there? What sort of places do I want to go to? I may not want to go to Rome, but I may want to go to Palermo. So I think you can build a personal relationship with your travel manager that then helps them provide you with additional travel opportunities because it fits your objectives. And I'll be talking with some of your managers very shortly in management and all that sort of stuff, you know, within the business. But let's have a look at a couple more of your slides there for a second. Just if you can scroll down to the ones you want to show here. Here we go. Wow. Okay. 11,300,000 Australians travelled internationally in 2019. And at the moment, practically none. Travel sector employed 32,590. But all we've heard about is the bricks and mortar agencies laying people off. I'm particularly interested in the next slide.
Was it that one?
Yes, look at that. That's amazing. That's the history, isn't it? Yeah, and you're members of all these organizations as well. So the other key thing is that you perform to all their standards, protection, all that sort of stuff, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we run a dedicated trust account, and Travel Managers for many years has always been, you know, critical to that point, because we do believe that protecting the consumer dollar is a critical part of providing that peace of mind to a customer. And our business over the years has really focused on how do we provide as best consumer protection in what we call now a deregulated market. I think probably the thing that that stands out for me over the years in the business is the fact that not only have we grown, John, as a business, we've been, I suppose, in 2019, you know, we were awarded when AFTA created a category for home-based agents as the best home-based business. I think there's a reason why Travel Managers has been recognised. It's because at the heart of it, our business model is about how we provide value to our personal travel managers. What are the things that we can do that can help our travel managers succeed and thrive in a market which is very competitive? Our suppliers are our competition. The bricks and mortar are our competition. The airlines are our competition. But like you said before, the long-term value in the customer relationship is why our PTMs have built these long-term relationships with their customers, because they really do understand their likes, their passions, and they've got the experience to be able to deliver. I suppose ultimately it's part of that success formula is the fact that our PTMs really do care about their customers. And you and I know when things are great, things are great. But when things go south, and this pandemic has demonstrated that in a way that nobody could have predicted, it's that relationship that our PTMs have with our customers, which is about how do I get your money back? How do I ensure that you are protected? How do I make sure that, that we can deliver to you, that we're actually working around the clock, getting refunds back to you from the airlines, from the cruise ships, and all of our different supplier partners.
Yeah.
And this is where the customers, I believe in the end, this is where the trust is created even more so, and the value. And let's be honest, the travel agent sector in the media hasn't had a great time.
No.
And many consumers question the integrity of some of our industry. And I don't believe it's fair.
No,
but in the end, this is where I think, the relationship with our PTMs and their customers is the reason why they will thrive into the future. Once borders open and people can start traveling again, as you said before, there's going to be a huge pent-up demand for people to start traveling again.
Well, Michael, look, I need to move on and go and talk to some of your managers, okay, who I know are really highly professional people. But thank you for your comments this morning. Absolutely agree with them 100%. It is the future for the travel agency moving into travel consultants, travel managers, and so on. And we wish you every success going forward as Australia opens up again. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks,
Gazal.
John.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Well, we've just had a chat now with Michael, and you all heard that Michael is the Executive General Manager of Travel Managers, and also his position in the marketplace, which really interests me because I've been in the travel business for eons, and I've seen the whole agency relationship change and so on. And I lived in the US for a while, and 20 years ago, they were saying travel agencies are dead, I think they are in certain formats, okay? But we talked about with Michael about home-based travel agencies, how they build a personal relationship with their clients, deliver what they want to their clients and so on. But you guys are the guys that manage this operation in various sections. So we're chatting first with Prue Gallagher. Now, Prue, you're operations manager. So what does that actually mean? What do you do?
It's a very varied role. I've been in the role for about 14 years.
You don't look old enough, I've got to say.
And the operations team is responsible for the onboarding process of all the personal travel managers when they join the network.
Yep.
And that also includes the induction that they go through. When we did have them coming to the NPO in Sydney, getting them to fly up to Sydney, do their Amadeus training, do the 3 days induction that was then managed by each of the individual departments. And then day to day, we look after corporate requirements of the corporate PTMs, any crews. I've got a woman that looks after cruise inquiries and cruise sector. And then just general day-to-day assistance. And I'm also responsible for some of our IT infrastructure that we have in the NPO.
So let's get back to the travel managers joining. Is now a good time to join? I mean, because there's nobody traveling really at the moment, but there's pent-up demand, people desperate to go cruising, people desperate to fly to Bali and Italy and so on. Is this a good time?
I think so. I do believe so. Even though we are on restricted hours and what we're doing in the industry and in the business, our BPMs, our personal managers, partnership managers, are out there looking at PTMs who could potentially join the network. We're still doing our induction. We still have staff that manage all the different departments and work in all the departments. So they still have the support that they had pre-COVID.
Okay, well, that's a nice segue across to Tania. You're marketing manager, Tania. Your audio is turned off currently, so it'd be a good idea if we turned it back on. There we go. So as a marketing manager, you're the person that has to spread the message, okay? You've got to get the message out there about travel managers. And travel agencies have had a bad rap recently. I mean, there's all this stuff about refunds and all this, but this is the time to have a personal travel manager, isn't it? Because they are resolving the issues to do with refunds to begin with. But how do you get that message out about travel managers?
Yeah, absolutely. And that classic saying of without a travel agent, you're on your own. And that's really been evident the last year. So for us, it's really about getting our brand story out there. And what will be vital for the success of the brand is to really get get those customer stories and the brand experience out into the marketplace. So that's something that we've spent a lot of time over the last year doing. You know, in times where we might have been working on tactical campaigns, we've put a lot more focus on building and telling the stories that our customers have had over this time, where their personal travel manager has come to the rescue, and how, you know, they've gotten through some really tough situations.
Yeah. So your message is not only to people to join Travel Managers as personal travel managers, but also to the community out there to say, we have all these wonderful people who have your travel interests at heart, and now is the time to go and talk to them so that you can actually get bookings into the future.
That's right. And if we have a really strong brand and customer story in the consumer space, then that strengthens our brand as well in the trade space as well, and creates a really good incentive for travel agents thinking of making a brand such as ours.
I always love the elevator pitch, and I hate doing this to you, okay? But it's happened to me several times when I've been in the elevator with the chief executive of the company I'm working for, and I know I've got 5 floors. Give me your elevator pitch to convince me now to become a travel manager.
Wow. Okay. Well,
you've got 30 seconds. The clock is ticking.
If you are an experienced travel consultant who wants to, continue on in this industry after, international borders open, you've got an opportunity to continue doing that. Target an audience that perfectly aligns with your goals, but also reduce the overheads of your business. So, you can join a business where you can do all of that, but at the same time, you also have the strength of a really big brand.
Brilliant. Well done. And we're at the floor where I'm going to get off now. So I'm now going to go to Venezuela, but we're not actually going to Venezuela, but Jose Canas. Okay. Buenos días, Jose. ¿Qué tal? Bueno? Sí, good. Now, tell me, Jose, your fares and ticketing. Now, at the end of the day, unless you've got all the stuff that people can buy, there's not much point in being in business. Is that what you deal with? The whole sort of fares, ticketing, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, what we do, my team and myself, what we look after is issuing new fares for passengers who want to go, from A to B, especially calling A Australia and B the rest of the world, and also some domestic tickets as well within Australia. We do very simple tasks: issuing tickets, reissuing tickets. However, we do a lot of that.
I was going to say.
Very, very busy. And interesting enough, in the travel agency community, there is always a need for skilled personnel that could deal with the information that fares bring along. They are quite, you can say, ambiguous to read, some to a point that they are confusing. So you need to have, that expertise to be able to solve a problem when it comes to a fare, rather than when it's because of a change of a destination, or an airline is actually pulling out of a city or a country. So you need that expertise to be able to deal with that diligently and be able to offer a solution for your travel agents and therefore for your clients.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the clients, okay, if there's an issue, the great thing about Travel Managers is you have a whole department that is there to deal with these issues and solve any challenges and problems. So somebody who's thinking of joining Travel Managers shouldn't be timid if they, are not fully up to speed currently, because they get trained and they've got the backup of your team. Is that right?
Absolutely right. Yeah, we're here to support all of our agents, all of the PTMs, with any needs that they have when it comes to fares and ticketing, from making a booking in the reservation system all the way to e-ticketing, reissuing, and even refunding.
And it can be a complex task. I've got this feeling, right, having spoken to several people now, and I'm going to be talking to the personal travel managers in my next little chat, that there's a bit of a family feel here, which I haven't got in lots of companies. Lots of companies have lost that. And I think the sort of mum, if you like, of the family might be Suzanne as National Partnership Manager. So it seems to me she's got a hand on the helm of all you guys and making sure that you've packed your lunchbox and gone to school on time. Is that a fair assessment, Suzanne?
Oh, occasionally I like to get the whip out as well. Yeah.
I'm not talking about your personal life now, but what do you do as partnership managers, Suzanne?
Prue previously mentioned the business partnership managers who bring on board our new personal travel managers. They also look after local supplier relationships as well. And they manage or help to manage the businesses of the personal travel managers that are already on board. So quite a varied, multi-hatted role really for the BPMs, the business partnership managers. So I sort of manage them. There's 7 of them around the country. So they're actually state-based as well. So you get that face-to-face feel when you join Travel Managers, because right from the start you will meet with your business partnership manager. So we're creating that bond, I guess, right from the start.
So you guys are the management team, okay? So you're the people who are at the same levels, have all your silos, if you like. But as I say, it seems to me there's like a lot of crossover. You guys talk a lot, I imagine, don't you?
Definitely. In fact, our management team is very close. We've all been with Travel Managers for a number of years. Tania's not with us today. He's the finance manager. Jose, Prue, Tania have all been 10 plus years. I'm coming up to my 10 years. Tania, I think you're on 6 or 7. Yep. So yeah, there's a lot longevity here, which I think is indicative of the culture that we have within Travel Managers. And you know, that culture is really strong. It is a family feel. There's lots of mutual support, be that with the management team, the team at the National Partnership Office, the PPMs, the BPMs out there on the road, and all our suppliers as well. So there's a real sort of mutual support, a lot of strong values. And I think one of the main things is, and even in the last year, we do have a lot of fun. And considering how awful the last year has been, there's still, you know, you've really seen the travel managers come together. The support that we all have for each other has been absolutely incredible. So I think we're all very, very proud to be a part of the organisation that we're. Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's lost in so many companies these days. And I've worked in many, many companies and consulted to many companies. And I've gone into companies that are struggling to help them sort of improve their communication. And that's what it comes down to, is communication, it's belonging. It's that sense of, you know, I'm part of this family. And you guys clearly have got that. So if I was in the position of wanting to become a travel manager, this model makes sense to me. So guys, thank you very much for your time today. You look like you're having a great deal of fun at work, which is important. But look, that family feel is critical. You're all laughing, smiling, and I think it'd be a great organization to join. So I'll be talking with your personal travel managers now and getting their view on things. They're at the coal face. These are the people dealing with the customers or their clients, their personal clients as their personal travel managers every day. And it'll be good to chat with them. So thank you for your time today, guys, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.